Parents who have genuinely stopped loving their child, what happened? When my husband died, the loneliness never hit as hard as I expected because my 30-year-old son moved in to keep me company, except what he gave was much more than the comfort I needed. At first, we were two broken hearts holding each other through the worst of it, but one night, he climbed into my bed and held me the way his father used to, his hands around my waist and his body pressed too close. I tried to laugh it off his grief and pushed him gently away, but after that, I noticed the way his eyes stayed on me and how he found reasons to touch my hair or smell my neck. I kept trying to tell myself it was just a boy lost without his father, even when he started picking the lock on the bathroom door and barging in while I was bathing, insisting he was worried I might harm myself, then refusing to leave, scrubbing my back with slow, possessive hands. But things steadily moved in the wrong direction, like pulling me onto his lap when he thought I was sad, and grew into moments that left me feeling dirty and afraid. Once at church, I tried to pray for my husband when my son reached over, putting his hand on my thigh beneath my dress, his eyes daring me to react as I sat frozen beside him in the pew. That afternoon, I confessed to the priest that I was uncomfortable around my own son and was thinking of sending him away, but the priest said it was all in my head, that grief can make mothers paranoid and I should not abandon my boy in his time of need. I even tried to whisper my fears to the neighbor, but she only patted my hand and told me grief does strange things. Then my fears came true. I woke up one night to find my son standing at the foot of my bed, hands twisting in his shirt, his breathing almost animalistic. He asked to climb in with me. When I told him no, he just stared and stared, and I felt something cold settle inside my chest. I saw in his eyes a hunger and confusion and a rage that made me want to run. He left the room silently, but it was then I decided enough was enough. I packed his bags for him, bought him a one-way ticket, and gave it to him, telling him it was time to leave, that I could not do this anymore, and I knew what he had been doing. He stared at me for a long moment, then broke into laughter that grew loud and wild. The hairs on my body stood up from his laugh. Before I could move, he lunged, grabbing me by the wrist and dragging me down the basement stairs. I screamed and clawed as he locked the door behind us and fumbled for something in the dark. He cornered me, his face visibly angry, and when I tried to shove past him, he pushed me into the concrete and placed his hands around my throat, yelling that all he wanted was my heart. I reached for the nearest object, smashed it against his head, and finally broke free, racing upstairs with his shrieks behind me. I locked myself in my bedroom and called 911 while he banged on my door aggressively. When the police arrived, I told them everything. And while they arrested my son, the officers sneered at me in disgust as if I was the one who wanted an unusual relationship with my son. My son was taken away to a hospital, then transferred to a long-term institution. Instead of running away, I stayed at a nunnery, locking my door at night and clinging to the church that once let me down. Now I double-check the locks before bed because I will never underestimate how far my son will go to replace the man of the house.